Okay, so welcome. We are starting the chapter 2 about quadratic algebra, Q-tableau, and planar automata. So we are going to put some formal words on very easy things about quadratic algebra, rewriting words, etc. So it's just a formal framework for things. Maybe some words, some definitions are new, but in fact it's implicit in many words, many papers in literature. So at the present moment, we have given the main example, which is the Heisenberg-Weyl algebra, UD equals du plus identity, and we have defined the different steps of the cellular ansatz by associating what we call a Q-tableau to this quadratic algebra, which were permutation and root placement, and then we define bijection, the classical Robinson-Sussnet-Knut correspondence, starting from a representation of this algebra. So this is our main example, and we are going in chapter 2 to give the second main example, which is this algebra. It's defined by two generators, E and D, and this commutation relation, DE equal QID plus E plus D. Q is a formal parameter. It's related to the Q analog, the word of Q analog. And in fact, we can put a Q also here in this equation, and we get the number of inversion of a permutation. So this algebra is sometimes called the PASEP algebra because it is strongly related to the solution of a model in physics. So I just remind you what we have done. In the first fundamental example, it's starting from this commutation relation, we transform this into a rewriting rule. If you have any words in U and D, then by applying successively this kind of rewriting in the word, you get a unique polynomial where all the D are on the left, all the U on the right. So you have any words can be expressed in this algebra as a sum of this monomial with a certain coefficient. This is very well known in physics. This is called the normal ordering. And doing this, we have made a planarization of the rewriting rule by doing this 5 possible rewriting. UD can give du, UD can give identity, or identity D can give this, or this, or this. So we introduce two new operators, vertical and horizontal identity, to make a homogeneous equation. And we have this 5 rewriting rule, 5 possible labels on the cell, which give us the notion of complete Q-tableau. When you have all these possible rewriting, this is a permutation, but written as a complete Q-tableau. So this was all chapter 1 example, and now I am going to give the second main example, where again there will be Q-tableau, there will be bijection with permutation, everything. So this example is a PASEP. So the PASEP means a partially asymmetric exclusion process. In fact, we will work only with the PASEP here with 3 parameters. So you have a finite strip with n cell. Exclusion process means that in each cell there is at most 1 particle. So a cell can be empty or filled with only 1 particle. And then you choose by random one of this separation, vertical line between 2 cells. So if there is n cells, there is n plus 1 such vertical line. You choose by random with uniform probability one of this vertical separation. So suppose you take here inside the strip this separation. Then if you can move the particle, for example, here I can move this particle to the right, then I do it with probability 1. Suppose I was choosing this wall, then I can move this particle going back with probability Q. If I have chosen this wall, then I can do anything, then you do nothing. Suppose you happen to take this separation, then the first cell is empty, so you can move a particle inside. Suppose there is an infinite reservoir of particle on the left, so you move a particle inside on the first cell with probability alpha. If there is a particle on the first cell, then you do nothing. And usually, if you have chosen this wall by random, there is a particle here, then you can get out the particle with probability beta. If this cell is empty, then you do nothing. And intuitively, this is a stationary probability. There exists a set of stationary probability, means after a very long time, infinite time, what is the probability to get a certain sequence of empty or fill up cell? So you give me a word. If there is n cell, there is 2 power n possible word. You give me such a word, and what is the probability after a very long time to get such a state, such a word with the parameter alpha, beta, and q? The most general PASEP is in fact with 5 parameters, where you can also get out from the first cell, or you can get inside from the last cell. So there is 5 parameters, but for simplification, we will, in this chapter, do only with the 3 parameters. Yes, question?
Yeah. It's not clear a priori, is it that there should be stationary probability?
Yes, there exists a unique system. Yes. Oh, it's not completely obvious, but there exists a unique system of stationary probability for this PASEP. And we will also work in the case of q equals 0. So q equals 0, you cannot go back. Only 2 parameters alpha and beta. So q equals 0, then it's called the TASEP, the totally asymmetric exclusion process. So all particles move to the right. There is only 2 parameters, alpha and beta. And this system of stationary probability, let's give an example on a certain finite strip with 3 cells with alpha equal 1, beta equal 1. So I give you the example, alpha equal 1, beta equal 1, and here is a unique system of stationary probability. I will develop this in more detail. We will do chapter 3, all the resolution of the PASEP. But just give you the vague idea of why it came from physics, this PASEP algebra. Because this PASEP algebra is the main thing to solve to compute the stationary probability. And the stationary probability means that in each, when you have a certain state like this, then edges coming in weighted by the probability is equal to the sum of edges coming out with the weight of the probability. So the unique system of stationary probability is here. And you can see there is a number 14. It's not a coincidence that 14, 1, 2, 5, 14 are the Catalan numbers. In fact, the Catalan numbers are behind this TASEP. And for general PASEP, it's n factorial, the permutation, which are behind the...
So you said alpha and beta are 1 here.
Yes, alpha equal 1, beta equal 1. And then you have the solution for this is some numbers. This is a stationary probability for each of the states. And the expression involves combinatorics of Catalan numbers.
Alpha, non-zero, beta,
Non-zero, but we will give in the class the general polynomial in alpha and beta for the TASEP and Q. It's a consequence. It will be a consequence of our combinatorial construction on the cellular ansatz. So the solution given by physicists, they call this there is a matrix ansatz, and which rely on this equation, on this algebra. So we call this the PASEP algebra. This is the main algebra of our second example. It's an algebra given by 2 parameters D and E, a formal parameter Q, and satisfying this commutation relation. So the physicists introduced this algebra. They try to give some matrices, infinite matrices D and E, satisfying this. And they call it the matrix ansatz, and they solve the problem of finding the stationary probability by finding some matrix, infinite matrix D and E. So we'll see that, in fact, we can do everything formally. We don't need really the matrix. And these infinite matrices are related to the combinatorics of orthogonal polynomial. So it's strongly related to orthogonal polynomial. So some people in the audience say, I'm waiting for the combinatorics of orthogonal polynomial. So in this course, there will be some, maybe a small chapter about the relationship between orthogonal polynomial and this solution of the PASEP. So we are going to do the analog we have done for the first fundamental example with U and D. So take any words in D and E, and then we are going to try to do the analog of the normal ordering. I mean, to put all the D on the left, all the E on the right, and try to get a word is going to be a sum of monomial, where D are on the left, and then all the E on the right, with some parameter Q, which will be involved. So let's take a word, and take any factor DE, and then you can replace DE by ED, or replace by E, or replace by D. So this word is equal to Q times this one, plus this one, plus this one. And then you can repeat this many, many times. You have a sum, formal sum of monomial. Any monomial having a factor DE, you replace it by this sum, and at the end, you get a unique polynomial. This polynomial is unique. It's independent of the order in which you do the substitution. So I claim that any word can be written in a unique way like this, where T is going to be a sum over a certain tableau. So I will define what is a tableau. This will be the analog of, this will be the Q tableau of the Q algebra, of the PASEP algebra. And I will define what is this parameter. For each tableau, we'll define 3 parameters to get the Q, the E, and the D. So this is very analog of the normal ordering in quantum mechanics. So let's do the tableau for the PASEP. Let's do analog of the Taylor-Ansatz for this rewriting rule, planarization of the writing rule, and then we are going to get the tableau, the definition of the tableau, and to have an explicit expression of this. So next section, tableau for the PASEP. So we do exactly the analog philosophy, planarization of the rewriting rule. So the first equation, DE, you put D as the horizontal edges, E as the label of the vertical edges, and this is going to give ED now on the southwest border, plus E multiplied by identity, horizontal identity, plus vertical identity multiplied by D. And to remember which substitution I made, I put a blue square here, a red square here, and then a yellow square here, which is related to the Q. The Q, the parameter Q, will give each time you do this substitution. Now, to the unique equation of the PASEP algebra, I have to add some new equation because I introduce the identity operator. So exactly the same as my first example. So D identity, of course, is equal to ID, and EI equal IE, and I horizontal multiplied by I vertical, of course, it will be this substitution. So I put, like the first example, some brown line. The operator identity is going to propagate on the left for the vertical identity. It's going to propagate to the south to the horizontal identity. So I put some brown light to show the propagation of this identity operator. And let's do it on an example. So now we start from any Ferrer diagram. So you start from many words. If you have a word in D and E, so this is a word D, D, E, E, D, D, E, E, D. So to any words in D and E, you associate the Ferrer diagram. The Ferrer diagram such that the border, following the border of the Ferrer, the north-east border, you get the word by putting a D for a horizontal step and putting a E to a vertical step. So this is my word W, and then I am going to apply a certain number of times the planarization, the planar rewriting rule. So I can start from here, for example, DE, and let's do one of the substitutions. So there is 3 possibilities. DE can be ED, or can be D, or can be E. So let's choose this one. I choose DE equal E with horizontal identity. So I put a red point to remember that I have done this substitution. And then I am going to do this substitution. So identity is going to propagate like this. And then maybe I could do this. And putting ED on DE. So I have a parameter Q appearing. D give ED, and you continue, for example, then what's the so DE equal identity vertical multiplied by D with a blue point. So you continue like this. In any order, you do your substitution. Each time you have a certain monomial. If it's DE, there is three possibilities to do the substitution. If it's with identity, there's only one possibility. And you continue. So you get this kind of picture. You get what you are going to call, we get a tableau associated to the PASEP algebra. So we have to check what is the characterization of such tableau. So let's finish a possible rewriting like this. Okay, so I claim that at the end, what I start from the word W, which was on the northeast border of the Ferrier diagram, and at the end I get this word E, the monomial E multiplied by D3. And I say that this tableau contributes to the coefficient of E multiplied by D3. So maybe there is many tableaux which will give this monomial E to this 3, but each tableau will contribute to the coefficient of this big polynomial, which I claim to be independent of the order. I will give a formal proof of this fact. It's independent of the order, and what means the relation between all these substitutions in the calculus and the polynomial I get at the end. So the characterization of this tableau I get associated to the PASEP algebra, it was what we can call a complete Q tableau. Because it's a cell, it's a tableau, and each cell is labeled by one of the rewriting rules. It's labeled by red, or by blue, or by yellow, which was the three possible rewriting rules for the first equation. And then it's labeled by horizontal brown lines, or vertical brown lines, or a crossing of two brown lines. So this was the three possible rewriting with the identity operator.
But you only need two labels.
I need three labels. Blue, red, and empty.
Blue, red.
There will be three labels. In the case of permutation, two labels was sufficient. But now I will need three labels. So this is 6 possible labels. But in fact, I need only this three labels, blue, red, and yellow. And I just need this. This will be in bijection with what we are going to call complete Q tableau. So I give the definition of this tableau. Yes, you have. I take off yellow.
You need the yellow for.
No.
For Q.
No. If you want the Q, no. But if in the summation, this big polynomial is going to be the summation over this tableau I will call alternative tableau. I sum over all these tableaux, and then the parameter Q and I and J I will give from this tableau. I can get the Q, I can get the parameter, etc. But the Q tableau will be this tableau, which I call alternative tableau. So I give the definition. From this, you can have a bijection with complete. This was complete alternative tableau. And now I reduce. I don't need the 6 label. I need only 3 labels, and there will be a bijection between this tableau and the complete. And from this tableau, I can get back the Q. But let's the formal definition of what I call alternative tableau. So this will be the fundamental object related to the PASEP algebra. So definition. An alternative tableau, you take first a Ferrier diagram. When I say Ferrier diagram, it's generalized Ferrier. It's Ferrier is related to a partition of an integer, a sum of positive integer equal to n. Here, generalized Ferrier means that maybe there is some row and column which are empty, like this. This column is empty column. So generalized Ferrier means that the northeast border is maybe a general path going east and north. Maybe there is some, it's maybe some north step here and maybe some east step here, so it's a little more general than the partition of the integer. Some row and column may be empty, the last column and the first row may be empty. It's the northeast border is any general path, any general word in going south and going east. And I will call n the total number of row and column. So n will be the length of this path, starting from this corner and going down to this corner. So it's the common length of the two paths, the northeast border or the southwest border. If you go from this way, then this will be also n, the parameter n. So first you give a Ferrer diagram, and then definition of alternative tableau. You put some color on the cell. You put maybe blue and red, two possible colors. And some cell I keep with no color. So first condition, I put some color. If I don't put any color, it will be an alternative tableau. But you put some color with some condition. So the second condition is if you take a blue cell, at the left of a blue cell, there is no color cell. So if I extend, you see this line, blue line, starting from a blue cell, there is nobody on the left. And dually, if you take a red cell and you look below a red cell, there is no color below a red cell. So this is the definition of an alternative tableau. You see the first example with permutation or rook placement. If you have a color cell, there is no cell at the left and no cell below. For any cell, there was only one color, the rook, or the point of the permutation, with two conditions at the same time, nobody at the left, nobody below. This will be equivalent to say that there is only at most one rook in each row and column. But here you split the condition on the left and below. The blue is nobody on the left, and the red is nobody below. I made some paper where there was an algebra, a mixing of these two, where there are some rooks and some blue points also. I don't remember the reference of the paper, but there is some algebra mixing the two. So if I go back to my tableau at the end of my substitution, of my rewriting, if I go back to this tableau, and if you want to construct, so where are the E and the D? If you start from a tableau, then the E are exactly the row which are labeled E, are exactly the row with no blue cell. When you have a blue cell in a row, then it finishes with an identity operator. But a row with no blue cell, it can be empty row or it can be with a red cell. If there is no blue cell, then you get an E. And the D, if column where there is no red cell, so the first column there is no red cell, gives you a D. This column there is no red cell, gives you a D. And this column there is nobody. So in particular there is no red cell, gives you a D. So from this alternative tableau, I can reconstruct my monomial associated E d power 3. It's exactly this line. And how to get the Q parameter? Once you have your color cell, you draw this line below the red, and you draw the line at the left of the blue. And maybe some cell remain with nothing. And these cells are precisely the Q. So the substitution D equal ED, which gives you the Q analog, the Q parameter in the tableau, are exactly the cells which are not blue or red, and which are not at the left of a blue, and they are not below a red. This is a characterization of the Q parameter. Is it clear for everybody? And so I can restate my theorem. I have not yet given a formal proof, but I can restate that any word in E and D can be written as a sum of this monomial associated to an alternative tableau. Now I have the summation is over all alternative tableau. And the I and J, the power of E and D, are exactly I of t, the number of rows without a blue cell. J is the number of columns without a red cell. And K of t is the number of yellow cells, which I just gave the construction before. So I have a sum over all alternative tableau with this monomial with three parameters, K of t, I of t, and J of t. So we will give a formal proof of this later. In the general case, I will introduce, this is the second main example. I will give 3 examples of quadratic algebra and associated tableau, and then I will give the general formal definition of in a general case. And just a remark to go back to physics, then I can, from this alternative tableau, I can give an explicit expression of the stationary probability. I cannot wait this chapter on PASEP, the chapter 3, where I will prove this, but I cannot wait chapter 3, so I give you the result straight away with stationary probability. It's if you give me a state in the strip. So any state is empty cell, or the cell is at one particle. So any state, it's one element of 2 power n possible state. So to any state, I associate a word with the operator E means the cell is empty. Operator D means the cell has 1 particle. So to this state, I have this word, E, D, E, D, D, E, E. To this word, I associate a path, E going to the south, blue going to east. So I have such path associated to the state, associated to the word. So I get a Ferrer diagram, a generalized Ferrer diagram. And in chapter 3, we will give a proof. Using some physics matrix on that, we'll give a proof that the stationary probability with parameter Q, alpha, and beta, the probability to be in such a state, stationary, means intuitively when you have a very long time, infinite time, it will be the sum over all alternative tableau of precisely the same. You just replace the same summation with the monomial Q power something, E power something, D power something. You just replace them by the same parameter, K of t. Here it will be the inverse of alpha, power I of t. Here the inverse of beta, beta power minus G of t. So you have this big summation over all possible alternative tableaux. This monomial in parameter Q, alpha, and beta, which are now probability. It's no more formal parameter. And to be a probability, you have to divide by this function, the sum, the partition function in physics, the sum of all probability to get the probability. So this is a nice theorem, you see, which relates really the combinatorics of alternative tableau coming from this quadratic algebra and some computation in physics of stationary probability.
Is alternative tableau 2 colors? If the Ferrer shape is a square, if you have a rectangular Ferrer shape, are these bijective with alternating sign matrices?
Oh no, it's no bijection at all with alternating sign matrices. It's nothing to do with alternating sign matrices. If you have a rectangular shape, then you keep the 3 possible coloring: blue, red, and white, and no color.
What is the profile?
Profile is this. It's a profile. If you take a Ferrer, the profile of an alternative tableau is a word you can get by reading the border, Norris border, going from this corner to this corner. To any Ferrer shape, you associate a path, you associate a word, and we associate a state of particle empty or not in the PASEP model.
In fact, if we have any 2 of the 3 colors, we can deduce the third one.
Yeah. But you need 3 colors. You cannot do with 2 colors.
I thought of white is not a color.
Yeah.
White is a color. No color is a coloring.
Yeah, any 3.
Because color is label. You are the cell, you put some label. For me, a tableau or like a planar picture. A planar picture or a tableau is there is some cell, and on the cell there is some label. So here the label is white, blue, no label, empty, blue and red. It's
So the n in the Zn is the state.
yes.
Total number.
Mm-hmm. N is the length of the strip. So it's the length of the word in D&E. The length is the size of the Ferrer diagram. And Z index N is the sum of all possible weight for all alternative tableau.
Normalization.
It's a normalization to get a probability. So it's the sum of all this over all possible alternative tableaux. As usual in probability or in physics, you have to renormalize everything to get so that the sum of the probability is going to be 1. But the important part, you see, is computation. It's remained to be computation for a certain fixed Ferrari diagram or fixed word. You have to compute this sum, all possible sum of this. So what we have, see, we are filling the second row of our big tableau. The whole class, 24 hours class, will be about filling this. First 5 chapters was filling the first row. We are filling now the second row. So we have a quadratic algebra. We have some tableau associated. And we will fill up this in chapter 3. There is some very nice bijection with representation also of the quadratic algebra, everything. So what happens in the special case Q equals 0? If Q equals 0, then the quadratic algebra for the PASEP becomes the TASEP algebra, dE equals E plus D. And in that case, Q is 0. You cannot go back. Sometimes this model has been used in the traffic of cars in Geneva. So cars are supposed to go all in the same direction on the highway and not go back. So Q equals 0 usually.
But in India,
In India, maybe Q is maybe it's not exactly 0. Half, yes. So it's it's interesting model where you have a general Q and maybe Q small and some accidental ball are hitting. So there will be. But maybe at the end of the class, I will.
2 particles in one state.
Yeah.
In one location.
So this we will do at the end of the class. It's a model called the 2 PASEP. There is 2 kinds of particles, and some particle can jump with priority, high priority. Minister man, he can jump over another car. Yes, in India, when you have a car or a governor car behind you, he always he want to pass. So this 2 PASEP model is very fit with India. So we will study 2 PASEP model, and again, there is very beautiful combinatorics. But it's fit, it's go outside of the framework of the I am going to teach here, but it will be interesting to do this extension. So if Q equals 0, means there is no yellow cell. And I call this Catalan alternative tableau. Why Catalan? You guess why we call this the Catalan alternative tableau? Because the number of such tableaux with the size n is the length of this path, is exactly the Catalan number. So see, the word is well done. It's a beauty of the word that when Q equals 0, you have Catalan number. And if Q is general, what is the number of such tableaux? There is some problem. It's alternative tableau means Catalan alternative tableau. The definition is there is no yellow cell. So which means that all the cells are blue or red, or they are at the left of a blue cell, or they are below a red cell. So all the cells of this type cover the whole diagram. I claim that the number of such tableaux for a given n is the length of this path, the total number of rows plus total number of columns. I claim that such tableaux are enumerated by Catalan number. So this will be another. We will prove this in the class and show there is very beautiful combinatorics behind this, and the Laudet-Roncourt-Hopf algebra is related to this. So there are many relations with beautiful combinatorics or algebraic things. Now you may ask, but what is the total number of alternative tableaux of size n? Very interesting question. And the surprise is not obvious to enumerate directly such tableau, and the surprise is that it's exactly n plus 1 factorial. So we are in the garden of permutation, in the n factorial garden, and also in the Catalan garden. So we have done this in the first class 2 years ago. There was a whole chapter on the Catalan garden, all bijection between Catalan objects, all bijection between permutation objects. And this will be a new garden. There will be many bijections related to permutation and Catalan numbers in these classes, which are outside, which are not included in the garden I gave at the first course, part 1, 2 years ago.
So the shape of the tableau
Can be anything, yes. Now maybe if I can write on the blackboard to give you to convince you. First time I use a blackboard, so I convince you of that there is this. Can we see on the camera? Yes. So you have this shape, this shape, this shape. This gives you 3 shapes. And now this shape is blue and red. So you have 6 alternative tableaux of size 2, which gives n plus 1. N equal 2, factorial n plus 1 equals 6. And you are convinced that there is 6. The next one will be 24. So it's not obvious that you have a bijection with permutation. I will give you 2 bijections. There is many bijections, but one will be deduced from the Ceylard-Ansatz technology. Okay, so the next example is alternative tableau, alternative sign matrices. So what is an alternative sign matrices? So definition. It's a matrix, n by n matrix, a square matrix with entry equals 0, 1, and minus 1. First condition. Second condition, the sum of the entries in each row and each column is equal to 1. And third condition, if you look at the non-zero entry, they alternate in 1 and minus 1. For example, here on this row, you have 1, minus 1, 1. The sum is 1. First column, 1, minus 1, 1. So this is very famous cometary object. There was a famous conjecture on this alternating sign matrices, ASM. And if you prefer, you can, to be in the spirit of the rewriting rule and Ceylard-Ansatz, I can replace the 1 by a blue. I put some 3 colors. The minus 1 by a red, and the 0 by a white. So another way to define alternating sign matrices is to put some colors on the square lattice, to put a blue, red, and white colors. And the condition says that in each row, there is at least 1 blue cell. In each column, at least 1 blue cell. And in each row and column, when you read from left to right or bottom to top, you can read first a blue cell, then a red, a blue, a red, alternating, and then finish with a blue. This for column and row. So if there is no red cell, you have exactly 1 blue in each row and column. This is permutation. So in general, you have some red cells. There is more than permutation. And for example, for n equals 3, there is 7 alternating sign matrices, the 6th permutation, plus this 3 by 3 alternating sign matrices, where there is a single minus 1 in the middle, a single red cell, and the next one is 1, 2, 7, 42, or 429. So this is a famous sequence which appears in different contexts as alternating sign matrices. It appears in a totally different context with some kind of model of plane partition with a symmetry. It's very amazing that the same sequence appears. There is no bijection between the 2 objects. And it appears a third time, like the FPL, the full epoch loop model, which is related to spin chain in quantum mechanics, one-dimensional spin chain. And there is the famous Razumov-Stroganov conjecture, which was proved also. This was after 2000. And 3 different contexts, the same sequence appears. So this is a big mystery. Why is it the same? Because there is no bijection, no explanation of this. It's a very deep subject. So we just contribute a small brick in this subject to put this subject under the roof of the cell around that. I don't know if it can be useful, but at least it's for the mind, it's comforting to have everything beautiful under the same roof. And to put Altian matrices under the roof, which is also the roof of the Robinson-Schoenstatt correspondence. So I don't know if it's useful, but if you can make an extension of RSK to Altian matrices, I don't know at all, but you can try. So there was this formula for the number of such Altian matrices. There's a very beautiful formula, which was discovered by experiment. When you take this infinite sequence by experimentation, you can there is automatic program to compute these numbers. It just like looks the prime factorization of the sequence, and I think Christian Kratenthaler have some program to automatically give this formula. So it's a product of factorial divided by a product of factorial, and this was a famous conjecture in the 90s, in 85, in the beginning of the 80s, and for 10 years the conjecture was open, and it was solved by Zalberger in a tremendous paper of 90 pages, and no referee can read the whole paper, so you have to give to 30 checkers, 30 people who were involved. Each checker has to read 2 pages, and if each checker says it's okay, so the whole paper with the main checker with at the root of the tree, which I think was Bressou, and then the paper was accepted. But it's very difficult paper to read with a lot of calculus. And in fact, he proved that the number of such Altian matrices is the same as the number of plane partitions with a total possible symmetry, self-complementary, etc., etc. And this number also was proved by Andrews by also using a lot of computer and a big calculus. And so it's a nice proof. It's still missing a nice direct commutative proof. There's a nice proof by Kupperberg, 10 pages. He used the analogy with the 6-vertex model. In fact, Altian matrices is equivalent to a 6-vertex model in physics with some border condition, the so-called domain wall condition. So he used the solution of the 6-vertex model. So you have to put a Q, which is a root of the unity, a complex number. So you have to put some parameters. So you go outside of the combinatorics and then come back to get the formula. But it would be nice to have a direct combinatorial proof of this. And I don't know if it's possible, but this is very deep subject. Very interesting, fascinating subject, Altian matrices. So we are going to put this, it's very simple, to put this under the framework of the quadratic algebra. So this is not very classic, but I don't know if it's useful, but at least it's good for the mind to know that this is also analog. There is a quadratic algebra behind the Altian matrices. So I claim that this is a quadratic algebra. I take this quadratic algebra with 4 letters, A, B, A prime, B prime, with this commutation relation. So BA, you just permute A and B, plus the same monomial, but put the prime. And analogy with B prime, A prime. B prime, A prime, you permute them and delete the prime. So this is 2 completely symmetric equations. And then the prime letters commute with the non-prime letters. B prime A equal A B prime, and B A prime equal A prime B. So I claim that the Q tableau, we are going to call this Q tableau, associated with the algebra, are exactly the alternating sign matrices. So this is a quadratic algebra related to the alternating matrices. The same way the Weil-Heisenberg algebra with U and D is related to permutation. So see, with permutation, this was 1. Here, this was 0, and A prime, B prime were exactly, in fact, the identity operator. So this is a special case with permutation. You delete this, you put a 1 here. So A prime was the identity, B prime is the identity. And so I claim a lemma, analog normal ordering. If you take any words in the 4 letters A prime, B prime. Then you can put all the A prime on the left, all the red letters on the left, all the blue letters on the right, and you get a polynomial in this word in red, yes. No, A prime don't commute. No.
Oh, it's a word in the end. Okay.
No, it's only commutation is this.
Okay.
So A prime will be the free monoid in red letters, A prime. The blue letter will remain a free monoid with no commutation, but between the blue and the red, there exists some commutation. This will be in general. All the red letters in the general framework will correspond to orbital edges. They will not commute between them. What will commute with only the red letters and the blue letters. In general, there will be many red letters, many blue letters. Only commutation are between the red and the blue. So the red corresponds to vertical edges, the blue to horizontal edges, and between horizontal edges, there is no possible commutation. Only commutation is because of the planarization of the commutation. So I claim that if you take any word, there is can be written a unique way like this, where after the commutation between the blue and the red, I can put all the red on the left, all the blue on the right. This is because of because of this commutation. Each time you have a blue followed by a red, you can make the transposition between a red and blue. So each time you have one of these 4 possible cases, you can put the red on the left, put the blue on the right. So doing this many, many times by recursion, at the end you will get a monomial. A polynomial where each monomial is a word in red followed by a word in blue. So I have a unique polynomial like this. And so I have a word in the free monoid, in the red free monoid, in A prime. I have a word in BB prime. I am starting with the general word in the 4 letters. So I have a certain coefficient, C of U, V, and W. And I claim that proposition, starting from W equal B power n, A power n, putting U equal A prime power n, V equal B prime power n, I claim that the coefficient C of UVW, with UVW equal exactly this monomial, I claim that this coefficient is a number of n by n alternating sign matrices. So they appear, you see, in this analog of the normal ordering for the general Heisenberg algebra, which is more general with in fact, I will call this the 6-vertex algebra. And with this will be extended the 8-vertex algebra. This will be the king of the quadratic algebra at the chapter 4 or 5 of the class. So let's give a planar proof, a visual proof of this. So again, we make a planarization of the rewriting rule. You start from the word B power n, A power n. So the blue letters, the B and the B prime, will correspond to some color on the horizontal edges. It will be labeled on horizontal edges, B and B prime. A prime will be some label on vertical edges. And you start from this word, B power n, A power n. It's n by n square, n equal 5 here. And then I'm going to start the planarization of the rewriting. So BA can be, there is 2 possible cases, can be AB or A prime, B prime. So let's do BA equal AB. And now I will do this one. BA can be AB or A prime, B prime. Again, I put AB. So let's do BA, let's do A prime, B prime. So in that case, you see I have new letters A prime, new letters B prime, and I put a blue cell to remember this substitution. I will put 3 colors, blue, red, and white. So now B prime A. Let's do this one. Okay, this one I know again the same. And now I have a new, you see, B prime, A prime. Now it can be A, it can commute, or it can be go back to AB. So let's go back to AB, and I put a red. So this is B prime A, it's commute, B prime and A commute. This give me A, B prime. So you see, I just make a planarization of my equations, the 4 equations defining the algebra AB with AB, A prime, B prime. So each time a blue cell appears, when you have this was an A, when a blue cell appears, this becomes A prime. And when you have a red, it go back to A. So you guess what is going to happen. Let's do, for example, again a blue cell. So now I have a new commutation rule, B and A prime commute, and I have A prime B. So I continue. This is one possible substitution. So the Morita, you see, when you read a row, I was starting with a B, and then this became, no, I was starting with an A, this became A prime became A became again A prime. So if you want to have this condition, you get this condition to be alternating in row and column, and also in row and also in column, but at the end, you must finish with A prime. If you finish with an A, then this would be, there will be blue, red, and then I will finish with the red. So if I want to go back again to finish with the blue, I must have an A prime at the end. Same in column. See if I, for example, this column, I have not yet put I should put a blue cell. If I was going to commute this, and if it's blue here, this would be wrong. So I must finish with a B prime. Okay, I finished with B prime, so I have a purple edges here. So this is one possibility, you see. At the end, I must have only A prime on the vertical line, only B prime on the horizontal line. So by construction of the rewriting rule of the equation, it's alternating in blue and red. And finishing with A prime in a row means that you have a blue, red, and finish with the blue. You can convince yourself. So the starting point was this word Bn A power n. At the end, I have this word there, and all possible rewriting is encoding, all possible tableau is encoding of this coefficient here, C of U, V, W. So this gives you an idea of the proof. Maybe not a complete formal proof, but this is a pedagogical introduction to the general framework with the quadratic algebra having more than one equation plus some stupid equation with identity operator. Here I have really four real equations with no identity operator, and this is a beautiful example. And an extension of this will cover all the tiling, non-crossing paths, osculating paths, plane partition. An extension of this will cover everything in many combinatorial objects. So I define the general framework, the general language for this class, a complete Q tableau for Q certain quadratic algebra. So I start with a certain quadratic algebra, which is defined by some generator. So I have an alphabet, a blue alphabet of letters, Bj indexed by J. I have a red alphabet, Ai indexed by I. So you have many blue letters, many red letters, and the two alphabets are intersection is empty. There are different alphabets. Then they satisfy this general commutation relation. There is a certain number of equations that Bj with an Ai is the sum of all this. You have a sum of monomial, where the red letter is on the right of the blue one. So there is a monomial AKBL. Here another monomial BJ AI. So the coefficient here will depend on 4 indices. It depends on this monomial and this monomial. So in general, I have an equation, and C, maybe C can be in integer or real number or anything. In general, it will be a polynomial in some coefficient in a certain ring, because I have to put the Q analog or some parameters. So usually it will be just a monomial in formal variable. It can be just an integer. And the analog of the general normal ordering lemma is that if you take any word in blue and red letters, it's alpha A union B, then this word can be written in a unique way as a sum of all this monomial uv and a certain coefficient c of uvw. So this sum is unique, and you can rewrite this if you prefer a more algebraic language. You can rewrite this by taking the ring of polynomial in non-commutative variable a and b, and you divide by the ideal generated by the commutation relation. And so this identity is in this quadratic algebra. And second fact, by this lemma, which is an extension of all we have seen before in the particular example, this polynomial can be obtained by starting from the word w. You expand this word into a sum of monomial. Each time you have a monomial with a factor blue letters followed by a red, then you replace it by this. And you do a succession of such. And when you have no more monomial in the polynomial with this factor, then you have a big polynomial. And this polynomial does not depend on the way you are doing the rewriting. So this is a general framework of this class, of this Selvar on that. It's not all possible quadratic algebra. It's a certain class of quadratic algebra, and you can separate the variable in the blue and the red, and the commutation is only between the blue and the red. The blue does not commute between themselves. The red does not commute. It's to get this planarization of so definition in general, a complete Q-tableau. Complete Q-tableau is a Ferrer diagram where the cells are labeled by these 4 indices I, J, K, L. They are labeled by the rewriting rule. So I will denote by capital R the rewriting rule, which can be just defined by these 4 indices or defined by this. It's the same. Where in the rewriting rule, this monomial is rewriting this way. It depends on 4 indices. So the label, a complete Q-tableau, where you put such label. Each cell is labeled by one of the possible rewriting rule, but of course you must have some compatibility. I will define what is the compatibility condition. You cannot put any label in the. They must be obtained by the rewriting process. Or if you don't like this notation with 4 indices, you can also denote by this by putting an edge labeling on the cell. So it's a cell with the 4 edges are labeled by some 2 blue letters and 2 red letters, where these 4 letters belong to one of the rewriting rule. So you can label by this, or this, as you prefer. Put the edge labeling. So now we define what is the compatibility condition. If you prefer this labeling I, J, K, L, then the 2 cells which are on the left and below must, this indices must be L, and this indices must be K. It's because when you do this correspond to this rewriting, and here I am going to have on this vertical edges, I am going to have AK, and here I am going to have BL. So you must take account of this in this cell. This is the compatibility condition, or it's maybe more clear when I put label on the edges. So here is one possible labeling of one cell. Here is other labeling of these 2 cells, and of course the labeling of the edges must be the same for 2 vertical edges of 2 disjoint cells consecutive. The horizontal labeling BL must be the same. So it's like puzzle, you know. Sometimes there is puzzle there is some color graph with some pieces, and there is some color on the border of the puzzle, and the color must match. When you have 2 consecutive pieces of the puzzle, the color must be the same. So it's an analog of this puzzle condition. So I will call this a complete Q-tableau. It's a labeling of the cell by the set capital R, the rewriting rule, with some compatibility condition between 2 consecutive cells. And
why do you take that? Why do you take that writing KLIJ? I mean, this seems a better one.
KL.
The edge labeling seems better than
Yes, it's better.
yeah,
Yeah, you can write I
or maybe yeah.
K I L J.
It is confusing.
No, that is correct. On the left.
This one is confusing.
The one on the left.
The tensor
This
function
one?
seems
Ah,
Yeah.
this is confusing. Yes. Ah, yes.
Yeah, he's taking the tensor and
Ah,
Ah, yes.
it makes sense in the tensor, but
Ah, yes. Because I put my coefficient C.
if you exchange the two, it will make sense.
yeah.
It's because I put my.
Coefficient, yeah.
Yes, because here the condition I put this like this, because the row I put here the row ij, this was index of the row,
We are
and
going this way.
KL is the index of this monomial. So I put ij together because it was index of the monomial. And if I split it vertically, yes, it would be also maybe awkward. This was natural to put ijkl like this. Then I keep it. Well, I'm not able to change now. The video is done. I can change the transparency, the slides, but not the video. So definition, the weight. The weight of a complete Q tableau is just the product of the weight of each cell. Each cell is a certain coefficient. C index ij kl. So this is the left member of the rewriting rule, an element of the right member of the rewriting rule. And this coefficient, so it's an element. I have some formal variable capital X, commuting variable, and some ring of coefficient. Can be the integer or the rational. And this coefficient is a polynomial with some formal variable. In general, it will be monomial in Q and T, very simple monomial or just integer coefficient. So the weight is the total product of this. I call this some formal variable C, I, J, K, L. Now we have some, sorry to, this is a general framework, so I have to put some abstract definition to make everything clear. So I need to put some more definition. So for a complete Q tableau, it's a labeling of the cell with this coefficient C, I, J, K, L with some compatibility condition coming from the rewriting. And I have to look the border of this tableau. So so W is a word. Once you label all the cells of the Ferrer diagram, if you look the edges of the border, there is some label on the edges, which are some letters, blue letters or red letters. So you get a word, W, reading the border of the Ferrer, of the complete Q tableau, and reading the southwest border, you get a word, UV. U in the alphabet of red letters and V in the blue letters. So I will call this the upper word border, UWB. W will be called the upper word border, and UV, which is a product of red letters multiplied by blue letters, will be the lower word border. It's a word you get by reading the label of the edges in the border of the Ferrer diagram. And then I can rewrite my lemma like this. I can rewrite it like this. In fact, proposition for any words W in U and V. What is this proposition? Any words W in U and V can be written, yes, can be written this way. Any word can be written this way, where the coefficient C of UVW is exactly the sum of all the weight of the complete Q tableau with a given upper word border equal W and the lower word border equal UV. So you fix the word of the border, you take the sum of all the weight of all the complete Q tableau, and you get exactly this unique polynomial in the blue and red letters. This is the analog of the normal ordering when you do the substitution. And then at the end, you get a big polynomial, which is the sum of all possible weight of complete Q tableau. So I am going to give a proof of this, a formal proof. So the proof is analog of the proof I get quickly with the first main example when we are doing the reordering, the normal ordering for operator U and D, and we associate a binary tree. There was a certain calculus we associate in previous chapters. We associate a binary tree by this normal ordering in the Weil-Heisenberg algebra. So it was some previous slide. So I defined formally in the general case. So when you do a possible calculus, you start from the word W, and then you do your substitution. Each time you have a red letters followed by a blue, you make one of the possible substitution. So in the process, you have a certain sum over all some word omega, a certain coefficient which depends on the starting word W and your word omega. And then the possible calculus, you choose in this polynomial, you choose a factor bj ia of one of the word, and you do in one of the word in the word omega. So you choose one of these factors, and then you do the substitution. So I'm going to associate a trees and a skew Young tableau. So this is a process of the calculus. It's visualize planarization. You start from the word W, you do your substitution. So this is my word omega, and I'm going to do a possible substitution. So this skew, I call this a complete skew Ferrer, a complete skew tableau. It's not a complete, it's a complete, but skew tableau. All these cells are filled up by the compatibility rule with IJKL. So this tableau will be one of the elements of my tree. There will be a big tree associated with the calculus. So you have a tree is AN-1. So the vertices are certain complete skew Q tableau, such as the above order is W. So this was the vertices of my trees at the step n-1 of the calculus. Then the root of the tree is W, which is an empty Q tableau, omega equal W. It's just the border of the Ferrer diagram. It's a Q tableau considered as empty Q tableau. There is just a northeast border reduced to one line. Then the internal vertices of the trees, which mean no sun, they are labeled 1, 2, etc., n-1, which means at each time I have time 1, time 2, time 3. So there is some integer label which give you at each time of the calculus. And then it's an increasing trees, the label, because this is different steps. The integer are different steps of the calculus. And then I do step n. Step n, when I go from the tree n-1 to the tree an. So you choose one leaf of the tree, one leaf which is in fact a skew Q tableau between omega and W. You choose the factorization. I am going to do the rewriting. You label this, I am in step n of the calculus. And then the sum of this leaf will be all the skew tableau of the following form. So you do the rewriting, you see, I do the rewriting BA AI equal AK BJ. I do this planar rewriting. And so this is all possible sum of my leaf will be all possible rewriting I get like this. So this is a big substitution of this monomial into the sum in the corresponding equation. So AN is an increasing tree. And by recurrence, you can prove easily that the word W is the sum of all the weight of the tableau T. So all the weight of the leaf, you take all the leaf of the tree. The leaf corresponds to skew complete Q tableau. So you have a weight of this tableau and multiply by the word of the lower word border. So this by recurrence, this is just the lower word border. So it's easy by recurrence to prove this. You go down in the tree. Each time you have a rewriting. At the step number n, you take a leaf, you make the substitution. So you introduce some new leaves in the new trees, order n, and then and this sum, the W, is invariant in all this substitution. And at the end of the calculus, when you finish the calculus, all the leaves, you are at time capital N. All the leaves are of the form like this. So there is no more monomial in your big polynomial with a factor blue letters followed by red letters. In fact, N, capital N, you finish all the leaf at the same level. Capital N is the number of cells of the Ferrer diagram. And so at the end, you have the word W is a sum over all the weight of all the leaf. That means all this Q, all this now straight, complete Q tableau, multiplied by the word you get at the end, which is the word UV. And I will get the proof of my main theorem if I show that the following lemma, that the complete straight Q tableau with a lower border equal to upper border equal to W are in bijection with the leaf of this tree. The leaf I get at the end are some Q tableau, and in fact you can prove that this is exactly the leaf are in bijection, one by one, with all the possible complete Q tableau with a given upper border equal W. And so the sum you have, the sum here you get a sum over all the leaf of the trees, which correspond to the calculus you made by applying all this rewriting rule, is exactly the same because of the bijection leaf to Q tableau, to straight complete tableau. It's exactly the same as the sum over all possible complete Q tableau. And this is the end of the proof to give the factorization. This polynomial can be written as a sum of weight of complete Q tableau, and this sum is unique. Any way you do the calculus, any way you do your trees, which is the label integer give you in which order you put the, it doesn't depend of the label, it doesn't depend of the tree, and you get at the end everything you want, the unicity and this polynomial. So you get that this, you get the proof, complete proof of this, that you have a unique, you can expand W as a sum like this. And this sum can be obtained by a rewriting rule, and this rewriting rule is unique. And you can express this sum as a sum over all complete Q tableau with a given border, lower border, and upper border. No, not finished. No, now I finish with the definition of a Q tableau. So Q tableau is the same as we have done before. The complete Q tableau, you have all possible labels, but I'm going to reduce the label, so to a certain set L. So I will make a map from the set R, all the possible rewriting rule. I will send this on the set of label, satisfying the condition star. It's an analog of the condition star I have put before, that if you have two different rewriting rules having the same label, then they belong to two different equations. You remember last time we have done, in the special case, we have done if you have two rewriting rules giving the same label, then they belong to different rewriting equations. So here my condition is this. You cannot, if you have a certain equation with all possible rewriting, then the label may be all different. Which means that in the PASEP algebra, the first equation, there is three terms, so I must put three labels. Three different labels. Condition star is just, you can put same label on different terms of the right-hand side of the equation, but this term must belong to two different equations. Ij is different of I prime j prime. As soon as you do this, then there is a bijection between complete Q tableau and Q tableau. There is a slight difference, the bijection, because if you have a complete Q tableau like this, so a complete Q tableau, there is, as soon as you define the tableau, then there is an upper border W and a lower border UV, and then the phi of the tableau, the Q tableau, will be the image of the complete by the map phi. So maybe you lose the word W. So I must define a Q tableau which is W compatible. It means that the Q tableau comes from the image by phi of a complete Q tableau with a border W. And then I have the analog that the set of Q tableau W compatible is in bijection with a set of complete Q tableau with upper border equal W. They are in bijection by the map phi. So there is a slight difference. There is this notion of a Q tableau because you are losing maybe the word W when you do the morphism. So, but the main thing is that Q tableau are in bijection with complete Q-tableau. So when I do my big summation, the word W becomes a big summation over all the leaf of the tree, which becomes the summation over the complete Q-tableau. Now it becomes a summation over only Q-tableau. And so you see you have now you can put only instead of complete Q-tableau, you can put Q-tableau. And here are a few examples of Q-tableau. So I just repeat, we have done this and we have done permutation. So permutation where the upper border was the word U and DN, lower border was the word with only identity operator. And I need two colors because there is two terms here. This is the minimum possible number of colors. So in this new language, you can write for the word U and UV and the word W, you can write the n factorial equals C of UVW, like this. So there was the complete Q-tableau for permutation. And there was a complete Q-tableau. And there was two different Q-tableau we have seen with where you just put a color for this or just put a color for this. You have the permutation and you have the rotate diagram. Or even if you keep three colors, you have the Q analog of the permutation, the number of inversion of the permutation. You can do this for Rook diagram. We have seen all this. Or even we have seen the oscillating tableau and Rook placement in row and column. So I can restate this by, you take a word WD, any words in U and D, which was the border of this diagram, and the word UV was, because I said there is at least one rooks in each row and column, so which means the lower border is UV equal identity power n, identity power n. And the number of such rook placement, like this, the coefficient of C, the UVW, was exactly the number of involution with no fixed point, or number of oscillating tableau. Yes, it's become to be very hot. And the second example, the Q tableau of the Q PASEP. So this is the Q PASEP an alternative tableau. So this was a complete alternative tableau. This is an alternative tableau. So we need three colors. We cannot escape with three colors. We will see in the next chapter. Then there will be the notion of reversing the Q algebra. And I will be able to encode this alternative tableau with two colors. Two colors will be enough, but I have to introduce another quadratic algebra, which will be the reverse one, reciprocal, and you will see that two colors is enough. But this will be another notion of reciprocal Q tableau instead of Q tableau. So the third example is Altenstein matrices, and Altenstein matrices. So there was we have seen this. So this was the complete tableau for Altenstein matrices. There is 6 colors. So here I put the colors on the edges. So here is the Altenstein matrices with a complete tableau with the 6 possibilities of the edges on the cell, which correspond to this 6 rewriting rule. So here is when you put the blue in and red cell inside these 6 colors, I get this. But 3 colors is too much. Because the quadratic equation, all the equations have, there is only 2 terms on the right. So 2 colors is sufficient. So why to put blue and red? I put everything brown. Okay. So it's again, it's a Q tableau. It's a coding of the Altenstein matrices. So exercise. Of course, if you take any subset of the grid, there is 2 power n to the square possible such a subset. So there is a condition on the brown colors to get Altenstein matrix. So exercise give me the condition, necessary infinite condition. So if you take any subset of brown cell like this, if you color by random the cell of n by n matrix, there is a condition to get Altenstein matrices, to get a Q tableau. So what is this condition? Exercise. Or if you see when we work with the 6 vertex model, there is 6 parameters. Instead of putting a Q, which will count the number inversion, you can put a Q. You can put 6 Qt analog, 6 parameters. And all these parameters, when you take the complete Q tableau, here is a labeling of the complete Q tableau, the 6 parameters. This is Altenstein matrices. And I will finish with 3 exercises. So 5 more minutes. I will finish with 3 exercises. So exercise. Definition, a Genoki pistol. This is a classic Genoki pistol. It was introduced by Dumont a long time ago. Dominique Dumont. So you take a Ferrari diagram with, you see the word is two consecutive edges and 1 edges. 2 consecutive edges, 1 edge. So the word W is DDE. 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 It's a special Ferrari. And surjective pistol means 2 conditions. First condition, you put 1 black point in each column. So if there is n, so there is n possible black point here, n, then n minus 1, n minus 1. So the number of such possibility is n factorial multiplied by n factorial. Total number of ways to put a black point in each column. But if you take now the second condition to be a surjective pistol, means there is at least 1 point in each row. And then the number of such surjective pistol is the famous Genoki numbers, which is related to the Bernoulli numbers, the tangent numbers, etc. So this was all the combinatorics of tangent, secant, and Bernoulli numbers is related to this. So the exercise is not to prove that this is the Genoki numbers. There is a well-known generating function. The exercise is to prove that such tableau, surjective pistol, are Q tableau for a certain quadratic algebra Q. You know, it's a reverse problem. We start with a quadratic algebra of a certain type, and we get some tableau. The reverse problem, you say, you give me a tableau. Tableau is a picture like this. And how to get a quadratic algebra so that the tableau is a Q tableau for the quadratic algebra Q. So this reverse process is what we will call next time a planar automata. You have a picture, a tableau. You are reading the picture with an automata, and this automata is equivalent to define a quadratic algebra. But this exercise will give you an introduction to the next class about planar automata. You have to read this picture and get the reading of the picture will give you the quadratic algebra. So this is the first exercise. Find the quadratic algebra. Second exercise is, this is the famous model in physics, the directed animal. You take the infinite square lattice, you put some point in the lattice. There is a root point, the origin, 0, 0. And directed animal means that any point of the animal can be reached from the source point, from the red point, by a path. A directed path means the path has only east step or north step, only elementary east step and north step, and all these steps are inside the animal. Right? The second of point, all belong to the animal, starting from the origin, going to any point of the animal, and you go to the next neighbor, to the north and to the east. Maybe there is not only one path, there is several paths like this, going to the same point. So Ferrari diagram is a directed animal. Or a very thin sequence of points, only a path going to the northeast is also a directed animal. So there are many, many directed animals. And if you want to find a quadratic algebra, so you have to put the directed animal like this, so that I go from all the rewriting, I go from the northeast to the southwest. So putting the directed animal upside down, again, find a quadratic algebra, Q, so that the Q tableau are exactly this directed animal. Oh, it's not difficult exercise. Try to read the animal with some edges, and you have to, in the intuition of a planar automata, you are going to read the animal, and you have to remember what you read. You put some memory inside the edges, which are going to be the blue letters and the red letter of the quadratic algebra. You have to remember something. But the remembering is a finite memory, only 2 or 3 states. You remember what you have done, what you read like this, and then you will be able to find a quadratic algebra related to the directed animal. This is a very famous model in physics. It's related to the gas model, etc., by Deepak Dar a long time ago in the 80s. And last exercise is a so-called Lay diagram. Lay is these letters, L, return L. It's so in the French notation, you take a Ferrari diagram, like this, and the condition for a Lie diagram is that this is forbidden. So you see, usually people put a 1 and a 0. 0 means the empty cell, 1 means a black cell, and this pattern is forbidden. For example, I have a black point. If I go up, it's not necessarily a consecutive point here. For example, here I have a cell filled with a 1, a black point. Go up here, I have a cell empty, 0. So on the left of this, there must be completely empty, no black point. So this pattern is forbidden. It's written like this because in the Americano-British notation, the Ferré diagrams are going down, and so the hook, this pattern becomes exactly this one. And this was introduced by Postnikov in the Grassmannian, a totally non-negative cell part of the Grassmannian. It's related to Schubert calculus. This totally non-negative cell are in bijection with such a diagram. So again, the exercise is to find a quadratic algebra which are able to read this diagram, so that the Q tableau are exactly the diagram, but you have to, again, so that it works, you have to put the diagram upside down like this, and you have to read it like this. So it's a British notation, but the mirror image of the British notation. And so this is forbidden, you see. And now I claim that you can find a quadratic algebra Q so that the Q tableau are exactly this. Now it will be L diagram in this notation, where this pattern is forbidden. So it's possible to find, you have to read this picture, you see, and when you meet a point, your edges going down will remember, oh, I met a black point. So you will remember this when you go down. When you meet this, then the vertical edges will remember that. And when the two edges meet, each edges will tell to the other, oh, yeah, we already met a black point. So I am giving the solution of the exercise. So you can feel that it's a Q tableau, a certain quadratic algebra. And I will finish the beautiful things. You see, there was condition 2. What is condition 1 is that in each column there is at least 1 1. And then this is a Q tableau of a quadratic algebra, and this is a famous permutation tableau, which I introduced to give an interpretation of the Saturninary probability of the PASEP. At the beginning, it was written like this, permutation tableau by Sylvie Cortel and Lorraine Williams. Everybody was working with permutation tableau because they come from the school of Postnikov, Stanley, etc., with the Lie diagram. But in fact, permutation tableaux, they are not symmetric in row and column. But they give the stationary. So they are in bijection with alternative tableau. Alternative tableau are more natural because they are symmetric in row and column. So we'll give a bijection at the chapter 3. We'll show all these tableaux, permutation tableau, alternative tableau. And also this permutation tableau are a Q tableau of the Q quadratic algebra. And this finish this chapter. So next time we'll do planar automaton, which are equivalent to Q tableau. And then we will do one of the another step of the cellular ansatz. We'll define the reverse quadratic algebra. It's an algebra, I can reverse it. And then I can, in the spirit of reversing, I can define the demultiplication of equation. And then I can get back RSK, I can get back many, many different bijections by doing this spirit of the multiplication of equation in the spirit of reversing the quadratic algebra. You will see this next time. Okay, thank you.
So do you want to